And the tram ride begins here at the Botanical Gardens. 12:46 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
She's very happy.
We understand this is going to be a shortened version of the tram ride.
Welcome to the New York Botanical Garden, a National Historic Landmark and one of the foremost gardens in the world. Since its creation in 1891, this remarkable place has been an oasis of beauty and learning for generations of visitors. The Botanical Garden, which encompasses 250 acres, includes more than 1 million living plants.
In a few moments on Side B, you'll see the colorful entrance to the Everett Children's Adventure Garden. Take your kids to this exciting indoor-outdoor museum where they can discover, explore, and experience nature. On Side A, the new native plant garden, a project of the Leon Levy Foundation, is a sustainable garden designed to flourish in every season and includes shaded woodlands, open meadows, and lush wetlands bursting with native trees, shrubs, ferns, grasses, and wildflowers. The plants in this garden were selected with the goal of providing food and habitat to birds, butterflies, and other wildlife. The path on Side B is the Mitsubishi Wild Wetland Trail. It borders a swamp containing trees, shrubs, and grasses that flourish in cool, wet ground. Frogs, turtles, and songbirds thrive there among willows, alders, and bald cypress. You might have noticed the dramatic rock outcroppings on either side of the tram. These natural formations are 500 million years old and are present throughout the garden.
As we approach the stop, on Side B, you'll see the 11-acre azalea garden with nearly 1 mile of meandering woodland paths.
I had just, like 4 or 5 months after my procedure.
The azalea garden on Side B features a diverse collection of nearly 3,000 North American, Asian, and European azaleas and rhododendrons. While the crescendo of pink, white, and lavender flowers is at its peak in May, broad sweeps of beautiful woodland wildflowers provide color for much of the year.
Including the 50-acre Thane family forest you see on Side A, the New York Botanical Garden is home to 30,000 trees. Supported by a special fund for trees, garden horticulturists keep these trees healthy in the face of stresses ranging from air pollution to severe storms like Sandy, which destroyed nearly 300 trees across the landscape in October 2012. You can see evidence of Sandy's destruction here on Side A, where uprooted trees have been allowed to remain where they fell. Part of the garden's strategy of allowing fallen trees in the native forest to decompose and be recycled into the soil. The garden is a museum of plants and a world-renowned center for plant research, conservation, and education. It's where plants and people come together, from adults searching for inspiration for their own gardens, to kids discovering how seeds, sun, water, and a little nurturing can create something truly wonderful.
As we turn, look up the road on Side B. The grove of small trees on the slope is the garden's crabapple collection, including over 90 varieties. The trees flower abundantly in late April. Also on Side B, in the grassy triangle, there stands an enormous black oak. It's nearly 200 years old.
As the tram stops on the bridge, look out on Side A. On the riverbank, you can see the Lillian and Amy Goldman stone mill. Built in 1840, it's a National Historic Landmark and a New York City landmark. The Floral family, who once owned the land which the garden now occupies, made their fortune in the tobacco industry. This mill was used to create snuff, a popular alternative to smoking tobacco.
This makes a grandma's day. Baby sitting on your lap the whole time. This is the longest you sat on anybody's lap.
And we'll be going on to the road start.
Then they're skipping the pine trees. It's getting crowded. And skipping the museum.
Those are my roads.
That's the food festivals over
12:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, June the 24th, 2015, Wednesday, Botanical Garden, Bronx, New York,
We have just crossed the Bronx River.
tram ride
Before the
tour.
arrival of European settlers, the Bronx River provided food and water for the Lenape people. The river was also a vital economic resource for colonial Americans. By the mid-1700s, its steady flow was furnishing hydropower to 12 mills. As we exit the Venice ornamental conifers, straight ahead is the Adam R. Rose and Peter R. McQuillan Horticultural Operations Center. This facility has received silver-level leadership in energy and environmental design certification. The stone cottage to the right of it once served as the gatehouse on the Floral art estate. Beyond the rock outcroppings on side B is a wonderful planting of herbaceous and tree peonies that flower beautifully in May. That's the Hope Peony Collection.
On the same side and down a gentle slope is an ancient lake bed, now the award-winning Peggy Rockefeller Rose Garden. It's planted with nearly 4,000 roses in over 680 varieties. They bloom magnificently in June and continue flowering through September.
It is a gorgeous sight. Please take your time. Are you going there? No? Anyone for the rose garden? Rose garden.
You almost smell it. Wow, they really finished up the lilacs here.
Yeah, it's opening in 2016. Spring.
Summer favorite. Would you love to get your hands on a Steve? Yeah. You like that Tram? They take him to right cleanly.
Yeah.
Right on the
Do that.
right.
Yeah. As long as you can sit.
Wow. Very pretty. Excuse me. That's my skin. You sing so good. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Oh, video. Something else sound.
What's that? I know, it's a real big, busy operation. Yeah. Interesting.
Oh, video. Boy, there's so much going on. You don't know which way to look, huh? Yeah.
The formal rose garden was designed in 1916 by Beatrix Ferrand, who achieved fame as a landscape architect in an era when the profession was almost exclusively male. But Ferrand's vision for the garden wasn't fully realized until 1988, when the rose garden was finally completed with support from David Rockefeller in honor of his wife Peggy.
Beyond the rose garden was the lilac collection, which was established in the late 1940s with hundreds of plants from the breeding collection of T.A. Havemeyer, a distinguished horticulturist. Each spring, this corner of the garden comes alive with lilacs in colors from white and pale blue to lavender and deepest purple.
On side A is the cherry collection. In the first warm days of early spring, these trees transform into luxurious clouds of pink and white. The Floral family mansion once stood just ahead. Though it burned down in 1923, the stables, on side B, still remain. As we approach the stop, on side A is the Ruth Ray Howell family garden, marked by the long, low brick wall.
Go ahead, please.
You got like 35 miles highway. It's easy to post a lot of money.
The Ruth Ray Howell Family Garden is a popular destination during the warmer months when school children, families, and volunteers come to dig the soil, plant and nurture flowers, herbs, and vegetables, and harvest them too.
Beyond the family garden, the native forest on side A looks much as it did when a group of influential botanists and local citizens first created the Botanical Garden in the 1890s. At that time, all of New York looked very different from the city today. The Bronx was still mostly countryside. Manhattan, in the late 19th century, was home to individuals of astounding wealth who were also deeply civic-minded, funding public libraries, museums, parks, and universities. Their goal here was to create an oasis of beauty and learning, where knowledge, culture, and tranquility would benefit all who visit. The New York Botanical Garden was founded with these lofty ideals and the then enormous sum of $250,000. Many prominent citizens contributed funds, including financier J.P. Morgan, steel baron Andrew Carnegie, oil magnate John D. Rockefeller, and Cornelius Vanderbilt II, whose New York Central Railroad laid the tracks and built the train station that many Botanical Garden visitors still arrive at today.
During the next few minutes, we'll pass through several of the garden's renowned tree collections. This is the beginning of the oak collection. The largest red oak in the forest is over 250 years old, much older than the garden itself. Some oak species can even live to be 1,000 years old. Such big trees can soak up hundreds of gallons of water a day. On side B, look for a tree surrounded on 3 sides by a low stone wall. It's a majestic turkey oak.
There it is. That's an old tree.
Are you Bonnie? Thank you. You're very welcome.
On either side of the road, you'll see magnolia trees. In early spring, they explode with pink and white flowers.
In a few moments, we'll once again be crossing the Bronx River. Originating in Westchester County, it is the city's only freshwater river. Once it was lined with factories, tanneries, and mills. Most are gone now, and the water quality has improved, attracting many birds and other wildlife. In addition to the river, the 50-acre forest we've been passing on side A is important both historically and ecologically. It's the largest surviving stand of uncut, first-growth timber in the metropolitan area. Today, the forest remains in its natural state, although it has been subjected to many unnatural disturbances such as air pollution and invasive species. Trees that fall in the forest, like those on side A uprooted by Sandy, open up gaps in the overhead canopy, allowing new trees to sprout and grow. As they decompose, the fallen trees provide essential nutrients to the new generation of saplings that will ultimately create a new canopy.
Ahead on side B, you'll see an arched stone bridge. That area is called Twin Lakes for the lakes on either side of that bridge. A century ago, it was a lively spot for ice skating in winter. While there's no more skating, the lakes are still popular with water birds and seasonally migrating flocks. On our free Saturday morning birdwatching tours, garden visitors have spotted more than 200 species. Again on side B is a group of modern buildings, which includes the Pfizer Lab, home of the Louis B. and Dorothy Cullman program for molecular systematics, and the largest and finest research laboratory in any botanical garden in the nation. Here, experts study the genealogy of plants and fungi. Much of the garden's primary plant research takes place in the nearby William and Linda Steer Herbarium, which houses more than 7 million dried specimens, some dating to the 1700s. The garden's research and conservation programs are among the most comprehensive and far-reaching in the world. Areas of research include plant molecular biology, natural resource management, and habitat preservation. Our programs stimulate discussion and disseminate information in order to help develop effective responses to environmental challenges. In fact, this tram runs on clean, natural gas, reducing emissions and air pollution. We thank Con Ed for their sponsorship of this effort to protect the environment and human health.
And here we stop for the green market. Anyone disembarking, please, and the library as well. For the library and for the green market.
Your mother bitch you, son.
there's the tram ride at the Botanical Gardens. 1:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.